So I've found my passion. Really, I don't think there's an exact map or roadmap to how I found my passion. I kept on putting one foot in front of the other. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Nyambura and I make content on home, garden and lifestyle. So today I'm going to, it's just a story, we're just going to chill and talk about my life, my career, quitting and finding my passion. So where did it all start? So where should I start actually? Let me start way from, not high school for sure, maybe high school. So I went to high school in Meru. I studied the usual subjects that people study in high school. In Kenya, it's standard. There are no majors or minors. Maybe you choose one science, you live there. It's really basic 844. I finished. And then now you specialize in campus. That's now when you start figuring out what's your career, what you want to do, what you want to become. Yeah, all those nice things. At the campus, that's when you make the big decision. So I was called, but during our time, the idea that you actually make the decision was not as big as now. So you were called. What you are called to do, you went and did, or tried to change. If you succeeded, you thank God. If you didn't, you stuck with that course until you finished. Then you figured out life later. But fortunately, I was called for something I love. So I loved chemistry in high school. My high school mates can remember. So I was called to do analytical chemistry, Bachelor of Science, and I went to campus. I did it. Then I always knew somehow I just didn't want to be employed, by the way, but you know, you have to start somewhere. So I finished in the year 2000, 9, 10. Yeah, so I started my first job, before my first job, when I was doing my final year exam, I was actually living outside campus and I had a salon. I had a salon in a town called Ruiru. I and my friend is called Miriam. So we started a salon with our last help money. You know, campus, what are they called? Comrades or whatever you call them nowadays. Your help can actually start your business. So we started our first business with our last help money that we were given to finish our campus. So we started a salon, we bought a few equipment. Somehow we figured out how to do several things. So yeah. Life. We didn't want to go back to the village. We had made up our minds. We want to stay in this city and make it in this city, whatever comes. So we started our first salon. Then down into it, like a month or two, I get my first job, which was in a research firm. And man, that job was fun. Straight from campus, I'm traveling this country like nothing. Like today I'm in Mombasa, tomorrow I'm in Malindi, the next day I'm in Lamu. Like I've gone to all counties in this country, all major towns, straight after campus. That was my job. So I did that for a few months. Then I left in, I think September. Then joined a faith-based organization as an apprentice. That is like a gap year you do after campus, so that you experience ministry and you make a decision whether you want to be a full-time in ministry or you want to go out and do other things. So I joined that organization and I worked there as an administrative assistant. Actually, I was recruited as an administrative assistant, and when I reached the organization where I was sent, because the organization that recruited us seconded us to other established organizations so that we could experience. So where I was placed, when I went there, I joined the communications department. So we were doing magazines, we were doing online posts, we were doing all those communication things. And I did I learned a lot of editing. I wrote magazines, I wrote newsletters, and all those things that they do in organizations to communicate. So at some point, still in that organization, I was kind of promoted to become the administrative secretary. From the communications department, I went to the head of the organization. I was sitting in his office as an administrative secretary. So I worked there for about a year and some months. So yeah, I left and started to figure out my life by then in this city at that point. So I started my first business with a friend of mine. It was called Bright Sky Enterprises. That was my first business. I didn't register it. My friend registered it and actually kind of recruited me. So we were doing things to do with stationery, websites. Man, I designed a website, a whole website. Me with my analytical chemistry skills, I designed a whole website for a children's home. And we sold stationery, we sold, I can't even remember the other things we sold. So the business went like that. It didn't do very well at the end. So we kind of fizzled out. Natural death. The business died a natural death. So the next thing I was doing, I was doing so many things that I can't remember all of them, but somehow I was living in this city. So I went on like that, and then at some point, I got to the next big thing I did. Now remember, I'm not employed by anyone. I'm just doing my own things. So I imported handbags. Hey, my first big business. We were a group of friends. So we raised money and we imported handbags from China. Like 300 of them. 300 freaking handbags. We brought them to the country, we cleared them at the airport, and we started selling them. So I remember our first photo shoot, we did it at Uhuru Gardens. So we carried our handbags in the car boot, we went to Uhuru Gardens, we shot the shots, we would sell our handbags from the boot of our car. So we managed to sell the handbags, like let's say 70% of them. The rest, we realized, because we didn't actually travel to China, we didn't have an agent to choose for us, we didn't know what we were doing, we were just trying. So we got some that were not very strong, so we could not sell them. Some got spoiled and all those, Chinese quality and stuff. So we lost a bit of handbags, but the good thing is we didn't lose any money. We actually returned all our money. Yeah, so at that point, we sold those handbags for a while, for several years, by the way. Then we continued, and while we were still selling handbags, I figured out I know how to cook. I really enjoy cooking. So I started baking, and I started by baking birthday cakes. If you see my first cakes, man, heartbreaks. Tears for days. But still, some people believed in me. They paid for those cakes. And I earned some money for some reason. I thank God for it. I haven't done a business that went to 0-0. Aki, I'm grateful. So I grew in baking until I started baking wedding cakes. So I baked for the longest. In the year 2014, around June, I got a job. Let's call it a job, for lack of a better word, because I was working with an organization. It wasn't actually like a job when I joined. I just gone to volunteer and probably get out of the house and see. But it turned out it was a good thing. It was I worked there as a communications director, but I also did their projects. I did the planning of their project and stuff like that. So I was there for 3 years. I think that was my best job. Okay, all my jobs weren't that bad. So this job I did was my last formal in quotes job. So I worked with women, girls and children. We were doing music, dance, therapy, all the fun you can have, we had it in this job. So I did it for some time, and these interactions with so many people on all across the divide. So I remember there's even a time we went and met the first lady and all those things. So this job really opened up my eyes. The people I interacted with, the people I saw doing things, great things. I remember one thing I can't forget. There's this bazaar. It's like an exhibition. It happens in Karura. It's called Biz Bazaar. So when we went there, I met these people who are selling amazing things they are done with their own hands. I would go around, ask questions and stuff like that. But while I was still working in this job, I started now my fashion. Yes, I've been to fashion. Man, I've done things. I was still in that job. I started my fashion business. It still exists somehow, but it's not as active as it was. So we made clothes. I designed for actual runways. I remember, like, I think the first runway event for the Little Miss Kenya, I was one of the designers. It was at Panari, at the Pan-Afric. Then I went on, I became the designer for Ability Kenya. My friend runs that organization. She gave me a chance to be their designer. So we worked with them for the longest. And then the fashion business also found like a natural death. It didn't die completely, still exists, but I really made my money. I can't complain. As I had an actual workshop, I actually employed people. We designed clothes from scratch and stitched them from scratch. So we did all that. Then I think at some point, Kenyans were not really appreciating the kind of fashion that is done from scratch. So many people were doing China clothes, also increased. So the market was not as lucrative as it was. And then remember, at some point I also left the job. So the connections I had even to sell outside the country, somehow they just dwindled. So I went slow on that one, but the baking job was doing really, really well. Please don't ask how many things I was doing at the same time and how many hours I had or I have in my day. I have all the hours you have. Somehow I find a balance somewhere. So at this time, my fashion business is going slow. My baking business is booming. I am baking up to 3 a.m. I am distributing cakes in this city. I am delivering cakes all over. And at the same time, I had actually started keeping chicken. So I am keeping chicken. I am baking. My garden has always been there. But this time I'm not creating content on garden or anything, but I've always posted photos about my gardening. So I continued baking up until, I think I've baked until as late as 2021. That's when nowadays I don't bake much, maybe for home use. So in the year 2018, that's when I founded Adore, and it started as a health business. It started as just selling health food, superfoods and all that stuff. So we continued selling, and meanwhile I hadn't forgotten that I'm a chemist. I did chemistry. So I was always interested in doing a few chemical mixing, finding out a few things. I was at the same time struggling with acne, and I was seeing a dermatologist where I actually spent money, a lot of money. But the dermatologist actually helped me. I cannot say she didn't help me. So I figured out that my acne was not healing completely. I was back and forth to the doctor. So I decided to fix it from within. And that's now how my business, the one for even the health supplements, that's how it started, because I was trying to heal myself, by the way. So as I was trying to heal myself, I discovered that food was a big contribution to how my skin looked, and even to how I felt, to how my moods were, to everything. So I decided to fix my food. And while I was fixing my food, I would post what I was eating. And as people kept asking me, what is it you're drinking? What is this you're eating? What is this you're growing? A business was born. Adore was born. And we sold the health foods. Kombucha is one of our big products. We have many of them. You can check us out on Instagram or on Facebook, and we will leave the contacts. And that's the business I've been running since then. It's grown a lot. It's really grown. It's grown beyond my imaginations. It's a purely online business. And in the year 2021, we rebranded and we saw massive growth, and I think I am at my best now. I can do better. Yes, I can do. There's always room for improvement. So Adore is doing well. My gardening work is doing well. So right now I do a lot of garden trainings. I still run Adore as the team leader. There's a team that runs Adore, so I just oversee what they're doing. And but I'm still the one who creates the products from scratch. I am the formulator. Yeah, so I still work at a door somehow. And I also still do other things. So I've found my passion. Really, I don't think there's an exact map or roadmap to how I found my passion. I kept on putting one foot in front of the other. I kept on believing in myself, and I kept on doing my best in all these assignments that I was given. If I look back, there's none that I regret that I ever did. There's none that I feel, oh, this one I wasted my life, I wasted my time, I wish No, I really think it was the way it was designed, because way early as when I was in primary, somehow I knew, because I remember when we used to be asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I always said I wanted to be a shopkeeper, and a shopkeeper I am. So I think I found my passion. My heart is at rest with what I do. I'm very happy. The sky cannot be the limit. I am a person who believes in growth. I believe in progress, and I believe in making progress. I believe in myself, and I actually believe all the things that happen to me or don't happen to me are 100% my responsibility. So I quit the complaining club. I quit the blaming club. I try as much as I can to do the things that are in my control. So the things that are out of my control, I don't allow them to give me a sleepless night. Well, yes, I'm human. Some of those things will happen, but most of the time, I make deliberate efforts to be in control, to make sure that the results that I get are as a result of the input that I put. So if you don't put input, there are no results. And the results that you're getting, whether they are good or bad, face it, it's your responsibility. By then, nobody owes you anything in this world. So if you're sitting back and comparing yourself with your classmates, you're doing yourself a disservice. If you're seated and comparing yourself with people who came after you and maybe did better than you, or people who don't have a good education like you have, and you think they are doing better than you, you're doing yourself a disservice. Imagine it's not their fault. It's nobody's fault. It's not your parents' fault. It's not your spouse's fault. It's not your employees or your employer's fault. It's your fault. You know what? You are the one who can make the decision about your life. You can decide to make your life, or you can decide to break your life. So you can decide to go to work and complain about your spouse, or you can decide to come home and complain about your work. So those two people you're complaining to are two helpless people, the wrong people who can do nothing about your circumstances. So the only people who can do something about what you're complaining about is you. So you just wake up one day and make a decision, and you say, Nyambura, it is 100% your responsibility to fix your life. So whether you are happy with your life or you are unhappy with your life, it is your fault. You can change your life. Make a decision. Always remember, if you have a vision, add some passion. I'll see you in the next one.